Yo, yo.
Yo!
What's good, what's good?
Brooklyn
We back.
Boyz Radio.
Another episode of Brooklyn Boyz Radio.
Yes, sir. What's up, baby?
Ain't nothing much, G. What's good?
You good?
How's your week, man?
Cool, man. It's like,
Yeah,
it was good this week.
ain't no crazy stories, ain't nothing going on. You ain't like
I always got a crazy. Something always
jump out the window in your boxes or some shit like that.
I got a crazy story, but I ain't gonna tell it though. Might get me on TMZ. Yeah, man. So this week was a little crazy. R.I.P. to PNB Rock.
Yeah, R.I.P. to PNB Rock, man.
Yeah, that's a sad situation, man. A whole sad situation, man. That kind of bothered me. You know, like I told you, I had two deaths last week, and then here this week. Got a chance to meet the homie a couple of different times. And last time was on a little, I don't know what they call that on the Instagram. When you got the group chat.
Oh, you mean like the live?
The live was me, him, and Punch. Shout out to Punch on the group chat maybe about 6 months ago, 4 or 5.
It's called a live, it's not a group chat.
I don't know what it is, man. Listen, man, it's for the kids, B. I don't know how to work the Instagram, B. I don't know what to tell you. But we talked on that, you know what I mean? So it's just sad situation all around, man. I don't know how to feel, B. Like, you know, me and you talked about it a few times this week. And I just feel like, well, reports came out today. I saw some reports today saying police came out today was saying that it's because of the
Instagram post.
The Instagram post his girl made, and he also made an Instagram post. And in the parking lot of the Roscoe's that they was at before he went in. So it was 2 posts, you know what I mean? I don't know how people could tell that was that because they didn't catch the person yet, but I seen a lot of people beefing about Shorty putting the post up, but now they saying that he also put a post up. I don't believe you can post your locations. You shouldn't be posting locations in that type of situation. But I also don't think that's the right for nobody to come run up on you and take your shit from you and kill you. And they can take it, right? But
I mean,
shoot you for it, they can take your life like it's a father, man. Like, I don't know. I just feel crazy.
I think that as long as there's rich and poor, bro, in this world, there's always going to be black and white. There's going to be good and bad. There's always going to be predator and prey, right? And the way to survive in this world is to know where the predators are, and either you avoid it or you go into those territories prepared. I think as far as the whole thing with Shorty posting the Instagram posts, I seen everybody like really getting on her neck about it and blaming her for his death. And I don't necessarily think that's right, but I think that what's going on, like a lot of times these women, they want these men with a certain type of clout. They want these men with a certain type of lifestyle, right? But they don't want to take on the responsibilities of being a woman to that type of man. And what I mean by that is, same way that a man's job is to protect his woman, a woman's job is to protect her man. And if your man is a celebrity and he's famous, I just feel like there's certain ways you should go about things, bro. Like you shouldn't be putting up posts on Instagram with his location. You should know better than that. But in the same breath, I also think that if he's putting up posts in the parking lot, then obviously he hasn't informed her as far as things like that, which, unfortunately, it was a fatal mistake, man. That Roscoe's is in the middle of the hood.
Yeah, listen, I'm hearing what you're saying. Just like he had to, you say he should have informed her, she should have said something about the post and all that. At the same time, this is his job too to protect his family. And, to wear your jewelry in a place like that, that's kind of, he got to protect his family. He got to go make sure he go home to his kid. And I don't look at her, everybody keep talking about her like she's some regular girl. This is not a regular girl. This is a mother to his kid. I watch him on the gram. She's on the gram with him. He played with his kids on the gram. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't see her, when people say it was her setting him up. She around this man every day. She travels with him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of, it's just sad. I'm just mad that people would even put her in that and not talk about the bigger issue. Yeah. And this is what I just want to say. I think the bigger issue, 2 big issues. We got to stop killing each other over stupid shit. That's one. The bigger issue to me, too many niggas dying in LA, B. I just feel like niggas shouldn't even go back to LA. Like, I feel like niggas shouldn't, and I love LA. Don't get me wrong. We go to LA, we chilling, but how many rappers gotta die in LA? Like, How many niggas gotta get robbed and set up in LA? And New York is crazy, right?
Yeah.
But niggas ain't getting popped here and dropped like that. If they get robbed for their jewelry, they get robbed and that's it. Like a nigga getting clapped and killed for that. Come on, Pop Smoke. Oh, who else? What's there's too many people to name.
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
Big Pop. A bunch of people.
man, people died in LA.
Man, I just don't understand it.
But I also believe,
Nipsey, like, it's just
but
crazy.
I also believe the dudes gotta know how to move, bruh. Like sometimes I think it's the arrogance of celebrity, bruh. Like, look, everybody's the man in their hood, right? I can move around Brooklyn any which way I want, but when I go into another man's hood, I cannot move around the same exact way. You gotta have respect for another man's hood. That Roscoe's is in the middle of the hood. The fact that you're there with a luxury car, with the jewelry on, and you're there by yourself, bro, you're putting yourself in danger. That is problematic. And you could have left your jewelry in the car.
Yeah, but I gotta laugh at you for a second though. Listen, about 8 years ago, 7 years ago, I was hanging out with you everywhere. Yo, Mo, we can't go over here like that. Yo, the earth is my turf. That was your line.
That
right?
was my line.
Earth is my turf. So what I'm saying, hold up, let me just finish this. What I'm saying to you is, coming from where we come from, and probably the same environment where that young man come from, we got an issue. And what I mean by that issue is sometimes it took you maturity to get to a point. And sometimes when we come from our hood, we are trained to go, we going anywhere we want. And we got to learn to get out that. It's a habit that we got to learn. But when you used to like, yo, I'm going anywhere I want, that's just how you feel.
But not necessarily, because back then I was saying the earth was my turf. But Styles, I had it on me every single day, everywhere we went, and that's something you know. So I felt like the earth was my turf because I made sure that I was always able to defend myself, no matter what.
So guess what, man?
So
these niggas even get security or start carrying him.
Yeah, nah, and dudes in that position can't carry hammers because that's a lose-lose situation.
I hear you, but I rather
because that's what
get caught with it on me.
Yeah, my slogan was always I'd rather get caught with it than without it. But like you said, maturity, bro. As everything started happening and I started maturing more and I started realizing what I have to lose,
definitely,
I started realizing it's not worth it.
No, there's a lot of places I don't go. And I'm not no celebrity, just as an age. Like sometimes, even in the hood, sometimes, you know, when I pass through where I'm from, I just pass through, breeze through sometimes. And most of the time, I just keep going. It's not because I don't love where I'm from. It's just that, you know, jealousy and envy is everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm always careful and always on point for things that could happen. Because things happen in a second.
I mean, I just believe that certain places just ain't for me. I know how I react to situations, and I don't put myself in positions to be provoked. I no longer put myself in positions for that side of me to come out, bro, because I know that it's not going to end well. Like, I'm not putting myself in positions to lose my freedom or to possibly lose my life. I'm just not doing it anymore.
I get it.
You know, I've gotten to a point where, bro, I got children. I got too much to lose. I got kids to live for. Just so I could say, yo, I can go anywhere. It's not worth it.
That's why I'm sad for his family, you know what I mean, for his kids. You know, that's crazy. Ice-T was talking about, you know, LA gang culture. He's tired of telling people about LA gang culture, you know what I mean? And that's just how it is. And I understand that, but it got to stop. You know, I was watching Steven Jackson from the NBA. He also was saying, like, he grown, he don't care. Like, he'll go anywhere he go, he check in. So how do you feel about that? Like, checking into certain places when you go to certain cities?
It's all about taking precautions. If you got people in that city, then you check in. But a lot of people aren't tapped in like that. So if you're not tapped in, then who are you checking in with?
nah, you're right. But if you do know somebody in the city,
of course.
As a friend, family member, you should always check in. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no sucker in you for doing that. There's no sucker in you for putting your chain in, tucking your chain in. You somewhere it's kind of rocky. Take your chain, put it in your shirt, man. Do something else. And matter of fact, you know what y'all need to do? Give up the chain. Somebody pull a hammer on you, give up the chain. Insure your jewelry. Because once they take the chain, guess what's gonna happen? You can give up your jewelry and get your money right back for it. So it's no loss to you.
That give up the chain is hard for me. I'm not even gonna
I
lie
hear
to
you,
you.
man. But we can't
I'm
die
not.
over the metal, B.
I'm nah. I
Yeah, you
hear
had an
it's.
incident. You
It
want to tell me
ain't.
your
It
incident?
ain't. It ain't. To me, it ain't even about dying over the medal. It's your honor as a man, bro. Like if, and I know this is gonna sound stupid. And it's gonna sound totally contradictory, but bro, I don't know if. Listen, I had an incident. I had dudes follow me home, all the way from Perfections in Queens, all the way to Brooklyn, because they wanted my gold presidential Rolex. And they ended up shooting me twice in the stomach. You understand? But, bro, I just, give me, for me to take it off, here you go, like,
Yeah, but
just
you
the,
the same dude that just sat here and told me I can't lose nothing. I got a daughter to go home to. I got priority. So your daughter got to be more priority than the jewelry,
listen,
right?
I agree.
So what I'm saying to you, to avoid that, yo, get insurance.
No, I agree. But what you're not understanding, you're saying get insurance so you can get the money back.
That's it.
It's not about getting the money back. It's about the fact that that man took something
I hear
from
you,
you.
man. Get him
You
another
know,
day, bro.
but like you said, listen, I'm speaking from the mindset of the last situation that I was in, and that was years ago. And at this point, I've matured a lot, man. And who knows? In the moment, I can't tell you whether I would go left or right, man. In all honesty.
So let me ask you this question. I saw somebody posted on IG. They were saying, "Do you think IG is like the new streets?"
That's a good question.
I'm kind of feeling like it. To me, I'm feeling like it is the new streets, right? All these kids are beefing over IG. Most of these people, most of these problems. Look, this kid got killed from posting something on IG, right? Just a post. Usually you spin on a nigga that's sitting on the block, right? You see him on the block, you spin around the corner. Now people are watching people post. Pop Smoke. Somebody literally watched the address and zoomed in on the box of the address and came to the house and killed the homie. You know what I'm saying?
I think IG affects the streets. I don't think IG's the new streets, though. I
Because I
definitely
think
can't.
all the beef starts there. But go ahead.
I definitely can't consider it that because you have so many people pretending to be what they're not.
You're a
On
liar.
IG.
That's true.
So I really can't say that because so many people play tough. So many people leave comments from fake pages and things like that. So I think IG is like this alternate reality that can affect the real reality. You know what I mean? But I definitely would not consider IG the new streets.
I feel you, man. It does affect a lot, though. But I don't know, man. These kids, they dying off of Instagram too. But another thing I want to talk about, and this is serious to me, just being in the music business for long as I've been in the music business, and just being a fan of music as long as I've been a fan of music. And we got to get to a point, man. Like we got to have balance back in music for me. There's no balance anymore. Like it's not. It's too much either. I even hate to say this, gangster rap, drill rap, too much coochie popping, and it goes all. It just feel like it's an all genre of music. Even if you listen to reggae music, what I mean, all it's pussy and cocky. That's it. Like what I mean. It's just that's it. And it's like it's no balance. It's no Public Enemy. It's no Beres Hammond. It's none of that shit. There's no Queen Latifah. There's no Q-Tip. There's no Tribe Called Quest. It's no balance. You know what I'm saying? No Positive K. It's no. When we was growing up, there was balance. It was the gangster shit, but then we got balance. And I feel like so much of the music with the trap music is unbalanced. It's like the energy out here.
Of course.
It's just different. And we keep putting it to the kids and the energy keep rotating and coming back and back and back. And I just asked all the radio people, the Ebros, the Charlemagne's, and I know they don't control, well, to a degree, they can have influence on the playlist to help that. Like this help get the balance back. Last thing I'm gonna say, I was watching this movie last night on Netflix with Queen Latifah and Ludacris.
Mm-hmm.
And we got money and violence and we love power and stuff like that. But this here was a regular movie. It ain't really about no streets. It was like some adventure. They was getting chased by some white people and stuff for some money. But it was like some fantasy adventure action thing. And we just need more shit like that in our life. Like, we gotta create a balance out here, man. It's just.
But I'm just gonna say that the lack of balance in music, that ain't no coincidence, bro.
Oh, 100%. That's why I'm
You,
asking
you know,
everybody.
and the reason I say it's no coincidence because these labels that have you believe that they're just mimicking whatever works, right? So they're like, oh, yo, this rapper's hot, so they copying that and get another rapper. But the truth is, if you look at the 3 or 4 biggest rappers, Kanye West, you got J. Cole, you got Kendrick Lamar, you got Drake. Like none of these are gangster rappers,
You got
but
Easy.
yeah, none of these are gangster rappers, but the labels are not pushing for that type of music more. Like they still pushing for the gangster stuff, they pushing for the drill stuff, because at the end of the day, they know the influence that it has on our communities, man.
Well, I think that's happening for a number of reasons. And one of the reasons I think the drill stuff and the trap, that's low hanging fruit, right? And no disrespect to like Little Baby, because he's like on the top of upper echelons of them. Future top of upper echelons. But when you talking about like drill and that type of music, it's a low hanging fruit for labels. Labels don't no longer have real A&Rs. They don't put any more all this development into any artist. So basically, these artists are getting themselves hot in their neighborhood, and usually what happens when the kids get hot, they get hot with 2 things: being popular with the music or the dancing, and usually that comes from like drill. You don't really see too much positive, rappers that come up. Maybe only person I can remember in the last couple of years. Well, you got the Simba kid now that's coming. You got Chance, but ain't too many of those guys come up. And I don't want you to. I want to show you the difference. When you got like a Simba who's more on the positive side, he talk more, enlightenment type rap, and then a Chance, these guys up here, and you got the low hanging fruit dudes that's doing drill. The labels just go get them because they hot on the internet. They don't put nothing into them. Oh, you got to make yourself out. They don't even spend no money no more. That's the greatest trick like the devil ever did with the music business, because I come from the music business, right? And I remember the budgets used to be sky high. And anybody that's come from that long ago, you could mill your whole furniture to your whole house from a different state with the milling budget, right? And then you had like a tangible thing like the CD, and you had the artwork that went to the CD, and all the labels got rid of all that when the digital component happened. Adios. And it was a limbo period around 2008 maybe. They didn't know how they was making their money because digital was coming in. And I remember even in our contracts, we didn't have no digital
Streaming portion
in our contracts. We had to go back, and even now we still getting some of those royalties from way back then, or royalties that come up now. So they couldn't figure it out. So that's when the 360 happened, right? The labels came back and said, yo, we doing this 360. And when they start doing this 360, now they taking publishing, touring, merchandising, and royalties and shows from you, right? So it's they taking
and they take a piece of your likeness.
So yes, and they taking your Instagram, they gotta control your Instagram, your Facebook, and all that. So what happened is everything leveled out. It's kind of like, you remember when the gas prices was real high, and the airports told you they're gonna start charging you for the bags, but then the gas price went back down low,
and they still
charge you for the
you.
bags.
Yeah.
That's what the record label did.
Yeah.
So the prices start going evening out, and they start going, wait a minute, we don't gotta pay for the CD, we don't gotta pay for this, we don't gotta pay for that, but now we got a piece of everything.
Yeah.
And now they're making deals with the YouTubes, they're making deals with the Spotify's, they're making deals with the Apples, they're making deals with so they're controlling a whole conglomerate all over again, and they making money hand over fist. Plus, they kicked out so many other dudes in the music business, they ain't paying out that many people, and they made the offices smaller.
It's not the same overhead. Less overhead. More profits, less overhead.
And guess what? We don't gotta promote these kids. Oh, where he talking about killing a couple niggas in the hood? Yeah, yo, he hot right now. Get him. And they put a little $1-2 little dollars into it. Not when I was my first deal was over $500,000. The first deal I did, I think I got 580 or some crazy number like that. The first initial deal that I ever did. Now dudes is getting signed for $100,000, $50,000. It ain't no money. You know what I'm saying? So you sign your whole life over, and they just taking everything away from you. That's where the balance comes. They don't have that, and nobody wants to take the time out to put, their heart and soul into an R&B artist or a positive rap artist. Even though, like you said, the biggest artists are the Drakes, the J. Coles, the Kendrick Lamars, the Yeezys. That's really doing them outstanding music. You can even put like a Travis Scott. They out there doing, other worldly music all over the place. Even, not even that. Even like Burna Boy, you see the growth of what's the genre of music?
Afrobeats?
Afrobeats. You see the
Afrobeats, yeah.
growth of Afrobeats coming, and they still not even go, yo, okay, cool, let's go back and start in on with these kids. So we got to change the whole system, man.
But my question to you is this. I mean, because something that I find to be real disturbing. How do you feel about the fact that these record labels are now taking insurance policies out on rappers?
That's crazy. It's business, right?
Yeah, but that's,
The company's been doing it for years. Like regular, just Fortune 500 company, they do it on their workers all the time.
no, listen, I understand, but what I'm telling you is when you have a label that's basically pushing for a rapper to market death, because that's what they're doing, they're marketing death. You understand? And now you're putting, because what they did before was these companies, because I remember certain studios and certain networks, like they had insurance policies on J-Lo, right? But the insurance policy that they had was on her body. It wasn't on her life. So if she broke a leg, they get paid. If being that her butt was like, was her selling point, if something happened to her ass, I don't know.
I don't know.
No, I'm serious. They would get paid for that. But I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. Or even singers, what they would do is they would put insurance on their voices. But what I'm saying is, but now they're putting insurance on these rappers' lives because of the fact that they know that they're dying and they want a return of their investment. I think, bro, look, I understand the way business works, but that is just so callous and it's morbid. And
well, you said it. You said it a week ago, though. You said it last episode. That's business, right? That's the price of business, and it's unfortunate. And the record companies, they get off crazy because when an artist don't sell or they give an artist a budget and they like,
it's a write-off.
You got to get back the money. They're just writing it off.
It's a write-off.
That's it.
It's a write-off.
Get back the money.
Less taxes.
That's it. So it's just crazy. I tell a lot of dudes just keep going independent. You know what I mean? But we got to just change what I really want to leave out of this conversation. We really got to get back a balance of the vibrations, B. We got to balance out the music. We got to balance out what our spirit is taking in every day. We got to have a balance. The radio can't be, it is so crazy because they let so many curses and, deep throat. I'm like, what? Everything, I was listening to radio, I'm like, what? And then the next song is the same exact thing, the next song, and it's no balance, man. We just got to get back to that so we can win our kids back, B, and we can have less drama in these streets. But I think if you change the vibration just a little bit.
Of course. It's the frequency, it's
Yeah.
the energy that's being put out in the universe. Like, you think about when you wake up in the morning, right? And you go into the gym and you jump in the car, and let's say you playing some Marvin Gaye, you playing some old soul, right?
That's
By the time you get to the gym, like, you feel good,
That's
bro.
why I work out.
And that, bro, but that's why I always tell people I can't listen to that angry ass rap music early in the morning, because what it does is it sets the tone for the day to have me just not feeling the same as, you know what I mean? Because music definitely emits a frequency, and it affects mood and it affects your emotion. So I totally agree, man. Like, we got to get the people a balance, bro. It's nothing but sex and violence. We got to put the love back out there.
And we so much more than that, man. We so much more than that just as people, man. And, I just want our young people just to love each other, love on each other a little bit more, man. This PNB Rock situation, not saying because he was a celebrity, but he was. And I know people die every day, but my thing is, I don't never want a kid to look at that and go, yo, I'm going to die anyway if I'm a rapper. Like, I don't want nobody to get their glimmer of hope taken away from them. And that's why it's sad, because you figure you made it out of your environment and you're supposed to be safe. Yeah, you might have messed up and went somewhere, but you figure you got out your environment. You survived all that bullshit, B. You survived the cops, you survived the streets, you survived the school system, and now you get taken down in front of your kid's mother. Like, that's crazy, man. And like I said, rest in peace to him, man. And yeah, we gotta do better, people.
Totally sad situation, man. The last thing I'd want to leave y'all with this is, once again, never be too much of a man to basically choose to avoid the situation. Sometimes, like you said, man, we grow up in these neighborhoods and we get so caught up in bravado and ego, and we feel like to avoid the situation makes us less of a man. That's not the truth. You got kids to live for, you got a life to live for. Make the smarter decision. Every battle ain't worth the fight, and every battle you ain't gonna survive. You understand? So rest in peace to PNB Rock, man. Rock on.
Toxic, toxic, toxic. What are you doing?
Pulling out your chair. I'm a gentleman.
That's toxic masculinity.
Bruh.
I do Pilates, high intensity training, and yoga. I get plenty of practice at bottomless brunches every Sunday, mister. You think I can't pull out my own chair?
You look nice.
Toxic, toxic, toxic. What do you mean by that? Are you sexualizing me? Undressing me with your eyes? Because I can assure you, these cakes are not for sale.
Wasn't looking to buy.
You weren't looking to buy. Well, this milk isn't for free, and you'd have to buy this cow.
So how long have you been single?
Well, I took some time off from dating to focus on school. So I have 2 degrees, my cosmetology, my 16-hour security, my esthetician, and also my bartending license. And right now I'm taking classes at Divide because, I mean, who wants to sit at home at night on the couch?
Ooh, they didn't answer my question.
Look, I don't know what you think, Mike, but I don't need a man. I make 6 figures, I'm about to buy a house, I drive a Benz, and I have a French Bulldog. As far as what I bring to the table, I might as well get on all fours and have to serve the food on my back because I am the table. Who are you?
No need to get on your hands and knees, Miss Crate and Barrel. But why did you come on this date?
Although I don't need a man, I was hoping to, find a man, strong man, to put me on a pedestal I deserve.
You ready to order?
Yeah.
So, how was the food?
It was good.
Can you cook?
Toxic, toxic, toxic. My name is Kayla, not Kunta. I'm no man's slave. I don't know if you realize it, Mike, but I'm an independent woman.
A few moments later.
No, 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 no.
Look, I know you make 6 figures, drive a Mercedes, no karate, and work part-time as a coffee table. So I'm not gonna press you with my masculinity. I'll pay my half of the bill. I understand that you're independent. I don't wanna be toxic.
Girl, another failed date. Would you believe he wouldn't even pay for the bill? Girl, I'm so serious. I don't know what's going on, but I'm starting to lose hope that it's even any real men left.
All right. So this is what's happening in Illinois. In 2023, in January, the beginning of the new year, undetainable offenses: aggravated assault, aggravated battery, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing, arson, burglary, drug-induced homicides, intimidation, kidnapping, robbery, second-degree murder, and threatening any public safety. You can't go to jail. Basically,
It's not you can't go to jail.
you can't go. Well,
You
there's
can't
no
be
bail.
held. There's no bail.
There's no bail holding for it. So,
But
what do you think about that?
I think everybody's up in the uproar before really understanding what that means. All that means is that a judge can still choose to hold you, right?
Yeah.
You can still be held without bail. It's just either you're going to get released on your own recognizance or you're going to get remanded, right? So if a judge feels that this person, because of their record or maybe because of whatever act that they committed, this person is a menace and shouldn't be on the streets, what they're going to do is they're going to remand you and you're going to be held without bail. I feel 2 ways about it, man, because for a very long time, a lot of people were being held behind bars until they went to trial because they couldn't afford bail. You know what I mean? So the truth is now Think of how many people get charged for offenses that they didn't commit. So now these same people, at least they'll be able to fight their case from the outside. I know everyone's thinking about people who are guilty being released back on the streets, but the truth is, there's this big myth that a huge percentage of our communities commit crimes, when that's actually not true. You know, I'd say it isn't even 10% of our communities that are really in the streets, bro. 90 to 95% of the people in our communities are hardworking people that don't even get arrested. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I think it's a good and bad thing, because we don't want, guilty people being released back on the streets to pretty much do more crime. But in the same breath, I think it's good for those of us that can't afford the bail that won't have to pay it. I mean, look at the Khalif Broda case. Khalif Broda,
and that's why this about
yeah, was on Rikers Island for 3 years. Why? Because his family couldn't afford a bail.
Yeah, so I was gonna bring. That's why I was waiting for you to finish. I was gonna bring up the Khalif Broda situation, and it was just that was unfortunate. And there's a lot of cases like that, even in New York City and Rikers Island. A lot of people just sitting there waiting for bail, or can't afford a bail and waiting for trial for years.
For years at a time.
Can't get out. So, only thing I thought was crazy, they had like an ankle monitor thing I didn't read, and it was like, yo, if you got the ankle monitor on and you missing
48 hours.
48 hours.
Yeah, you got 48 hours, which is kind of crazy.
Crazy, because you can do a lot in 48 hours.
Plus, you can literally be gone. You can get to Alaska in 48 hours.
And come right back, right? You know what I'm saying? And shit, you know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of crazy, but I do understand, and I don't know why they promoting it that way. I do understand why it's happening and why it's necessary, because there's just too many black men sitting in jail all the time, especially in our neighborhoods, sitting in jail who didn't do anything. A lot of these dudes that's in jail too, we got to remember, they just cop the plea because they can't afford an attorney, so they just take less time and they didn't even do nothing. I read a percentage the other day. They were saying 43% of people who get interrogated commit to a crime they never committed.
Yeah. But
you know what I mean?
Listen, let me tell you something. And I think that's a law that they should change. Brother, cops lie to you so much.
Oh, I tell people all the time.
I remember being in the interrogation room, and I remember the cops told me, this was when I was young, I remember the cops told me, yo, listen, just admit to it, and what we'll do is we'll talk to the judge, and we'll tell him to just let you go on an ROR.
You're a liar!
Lies. You understand? But, bro, these cops will tell you anything.
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 Let me say something. One time I got locked up, and the cop was like, yo, just tell me what happened. I was young too, right? It was for stupid. It was like for a traffic offense. Mm-hmm. I was like, yo, man, I ain't got no tickets. I really didn't have any tickets. I don't know what I got locked up for. And I said to him, yo, man, a couple of years ago, I was in Miami, and I was on a scooter, and I got a ticket. Like, maybe that's it, but that's in Miami. That was like years ago. Mm-hmm. Yo, when I went to the judge, and he was like, nah, he was like this, nah, that ain't it. That ain't nothing. I don't know. They gotta figure it out. So I went to the judge. The first thing the judge said, oh yeah, the officer told me you got a speeding ticket.
Of course.
On the scooter. So never trust the police in the rooms. And that's what it was though. It was a scooter, and they looked it up. It was a scooter, but the officer went back, who told me, nah, that's not it.
Of course.
It made me feel comfortable. So you got to be careful. And I was a kid at that time. So, Illinois thing sounds crazy, but I don't think it's crazy. There's too many people sitting in jail that don't belong in jail. And some people that's sitting in jail that do belong in jail. And like they say, a couple bad apples might spoil the bunch, but we can't keep allowing our people to die behind bars and sitting waiting for trial. Some people wait for trial almost 12 years. They had a case, somebody waiting for trial for 12 years. So it's like you can't just sit there because you don't have the money to get out of jail and fight on the street. Like, you know what I mean?
Just to go back, to double back real quick to the point of cops lying. Once again, this is why I don't understand why cops are held to a lower standard, because if you lie to the judge on the stand, that's perjury, right? And that's an extra charge, and you can go to jail for that. But cops can sit there and lie to you all day long.
They can do anything they want.
They can do anything they want, and it's so crazy because that can't even really be used as evidence to free you.
Listen, man, I don't know how you fight crime with crime. You know what I'm saying? It's like an oxymoron. I'm never gonna.
How about this? How about this? The death penalty. We kill people who kill people because killing people is wrong. Yo, how does that make sense?
Listen, we come from a country, and I'm not telling you, and I'm not, not taking up for any of the drugs.
Yo, you know we sound so anti-American.
I'm about to say we come from a country. It's not that. It's just crazy to me because I watch all the dudes like who kill each other on the block for what they call turf or what I mean, like different spots and stuff like that where we from. But you have this country, they're going to a whole nother country, take a whole nother country, resources, everything.
Bruh.
And it's all legal.
If
And
you-
they kill some kids too while they just say, casualties of war.
If you kill one person, you're a savage or a murderer, right? If you kill 1 million people, you're a politician. If you steal one thing, you're a thief. But if you steal a whole country's resources, you're a superpower.
And we live in an ill place, B. We live in an ill place. That's all I can say. We just live in an ill place. Like, it's like the blind leading the blind. Like, you know what I mean? It's good for some. Some things are good for some, and some things ain't good for others, man.
What they do is they put these blinders on you, right? And they pretty much dictate what reality is. But you got to be able to see through that smoke screen, man. Because the truth is, the day that them blinders are taken off your eyes and you see the real world, bruh, you'll be terrified because it's a scary ass place. Because the truth is, we're so low on the totem pole that we can't even fathom. A lot of the things that we're like, nah, there's no way this could happen, is really going on.
It's like we cattle, B. It's like cattle. I tell people I don't never want to be the cattle, B. If I'm in the Matrix and you got to give me the red or green pill to wake up, I want to be waked up. I don't want to live in the false reality. I'm gonna be honest with you.
But a lot of people would rather be asleep, and the reason being is because to see the truth is terrifying, bro. To take that look behind the curtain and to see actually what's really going on, I don't think most people in the world could even handle it.
Probably not. But look, man, we talked enough political stuff for the day. Let's get into some fun stuff, man. Let's talk about the women.
What woman?
This women, man. Let's talk about some, I want to ask you a question because I had a crazy conversation not too long ago. You know me, I'm always having these conversations. How much money should you spend on the first date?
I've never really put a cap on what to spend on a first date, but I do believe that a first date is to pretty much assess whether you're even interested in the person and want to see them again. So I remember I had a situation where I had met a young lady and we were supposed to meet up, go to dinner. And I told her she could pick the restaurant. So
First date?
This was the first date.
Okay.
So she sent me the reservation. So of course I look at the place, I Google the place, I go look at the menu. I realized that I'll probably be spending about $300 or $400 for dinner, right? And the one thing with me is, bro, I'm very outspoken. I'm very straightforward. Like, I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody, So I called her up and I was like, look, the place that you picked is kind of a turnoff. And she was like, why? I don't understand. And I said, listen, I'm not even sure if I'm going to want to speak to you after this. And I don't think that I should have to pay $400 to realize that I don't like you. But in the same breath, she did give me an argument that, that I kind of understood. She was like, well, look, on the regular, this is the kind of place that I would go to. You understand? So the only reason I sent it was because this is the type of place I would take myself, And as I got to know her, that was the honest truth. So I respect that. But still in the same breath, I think that for women it's different simply because women don't pay for dates. So a woman could go out 10 times in a week and it's free. She doesn't have to spend $1 really, right? Other than makeup, clothes, whatever. But as far as a guy, if I take 10 women out in a week and it's $400 each bill, bro, that's $4,000.
Let me tell you something. First of all, I think men take all the risks when you're going out on dates. Especially the first few dates. We got to do the driving, the picking up, dropping off, and spending the money. And it's not that I'm cheap or nothing like that, and I feel like sometimes I've been taken advantage of too. You know what I mean?
I think you have. I've heard the story. I think you have.
One time I took a girl out. It was like a $400 date, man. Like $450.
Julan, you's a motherfucker.
and we had a good time. We laughed, we talked, And I never heard from her again. Like, I heard from her, like, I seen her maybe, but I never got a call back, nothing like that. And, and I said to myself, that would never, ever happen to me again. Like, it just never would. Like, and then, I'm an avid dater at certain periods of my life. So I remember one time talking to my CPA, and he was like, yo, how much you spend on food a month, right? So in a month, it was like $2,000-$3,000, like $2,500 or something like that. And that was just dates. And half of those people, I never saw again. And not because of them, it could have been me too.
It's just,
like,
it's just once again, like I said, the first date is to assess whether you even want to see this person again.
Yo, so now I got a rule, B. I'm only doing meet and greets, B.
Cup of coffee.
We could go a cup of coffee.
We can have a picnic.
We could have. I'm not doing no picnic. That's too much work. We go get some Cold Stones or something. Something light. It got to be something light. And listen, if you take over 2 drinks, it's gonna be a problem. Cause them drinks add up, B. And some chicks y'all went out on a date. This chick ordered like 6 drinks. The bill was like $280. I'm like, yo. I had to tell her, I said, yo, I told her in the middle of this, I said, yo, you get one more drink, it's on you, B. Like, I'm not buying no more drink. Because I just think people don't be considerate about your
Tell the story about Shorty that was like, oh, my daughter hungry, so
Now, one time I went on a date, too. It was funny. And Shorty told me, she was like, yo, now what I'm supposed to say, y'all. That's all I got. I'm just sitting there like, I don't know what I was supposed to say. She's like, oh, we had a nice restaurant. One of the.
Y'all was at Julan?
No, we was at Julan. I don't want to say where we was at, but this was in Julan. It was somewhere else. It was it's probably like, I don't even know.
It might have been red, because I remember it was like when the Asian, it was like red sticks or something.
One of them back in the days, right?
Yeah.
Like Mr. Childs or something like that, right? So Shorty goes, oh, I gotta give my daughter some food. She's hungry. I said, all right, cool. Order the food for your daughter. So,
I never knew 3-year-olds eat lobster.
So it was like lobster. It was like lobster. So as a man, I'm like, I'm going to pay the bill. But in my heart, I'm like, why I'm paying $108 extra for a meal?
A 3-year-old that eats lobster.
Yo, it didn't make no sense. It's like, yo, my daughter like to eat, this is my daughter.
Oh my God.
And I knew it was her daughter because she called her daughter. And her daughter was
But did you hear her daughter go, lobster?
So listen, B. And yo, and I had to.
Her daughter said, lobster, mommy, lobster. I want lobster.
And probably, man, listen, man, she probably watched Little Mermaid.
She probably said, she said, you with Styles? Tell him lobster.
So let me tell y'all this, right? So
I hear he pay $400 for bill and don't see girl no more. I want lobster.
Now I saw her again though, but that was just wild, B. And I was talking to some friends of mine, right? So Shorty gonna tell me like, yeah, man, we just be going out. I just go out with my homegirls, and let the dude pay. Let the dude pay for it. Or sometimes she take me out and the dude pay. I'm telling y'all this right now. Listen to me clearly. I'm looking right at you. If you ever bring your homegirl to a date, that bitch paying for herself, B. I'm not paying for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Unless I go, bring Shelly. I'm not. If she show up and expect me to pay, I'm not paying. I'm just y'all girls got some nerves, but y'all gotta have some coof about y'all shit. I never knew so many chicks was hungry and couldn't pay for their own food. And then they want to call niggas cheap. It's not that I'm cheap. I just told you, I spent about $2,500 on food just on going out.
Do you know that if you go through a woman's contacts, there are men listed in their contacts, and next to the man's name, in parentheses, it says food? I don't want to be food.
I don't want to be food, B.
I don't want to be food.
Well, guess what? You can put me in your mouth. That's the only food I want to be food. Yo.
So what's the moral of the story, man?
Yo, listen, don't be a sucker, man. Never gonna be nobody.
If you gonna keep my company, it's because you genuinely like my ass. It's not because you want me to buy you this or buy you that. Another thing too, I can say that it's also the men's fault, and the reason being is I think that we date backwards, right? And the reason I say we date backwards is simply because dudes meet a woman, and they go above and beyond just to get in the pants, right? They spend all of this just to get in the pants, and then it's like, but once y'all get together, and if it becomes a relationship or something real, you do less. So it's like you date backwards, right? Because what you're supposed
trying to get the money back. You try to get the money back, man.
Oh,
I'm only
man.
dating chicks with mutual interest, B. She got to be mutual interest
That's
in
my
me,
thing.
and I got to be mutual interest in her.
That's my thing.
And one thing with Shorty with the 400, maybe I was chasing her too long, and on the chase and got the date and thought it was gonna be hunky dory, and it just wasn't.
And you know that's one thing with me. I don't believe in chasing. You to where I don't have legs. Like it's so crazy. But because I believe in mutual interest, and one thing I always believe is, why should I have to convince you to like me? I think that's the craziest thing in the world. You like me, I like you, great. You like me, I mean, I like you, you don't like me, that's fine too. But what I'm not going to do is, because I see women with these text threads, right? And it's nothing but a man speaking to himself. Good morning, beautiful. Good morning, beautiful. Good morning, beautiful. Good morning, beautiful. And she never responds. Like, I get the whole persistence thing, but bruh, you're being ignored.
Override resistance.
Man, listen.
That's what they used to say back in the day.
I just don't have the patience for it. Once again, like I said, when it comes to chasing, you to where that I didn't have legs.
Well, that's how you date on the first date, y'all. You can either take our advice
Or spend your savings. Go for it. Either way, ask me if I give a fuck. No, seriously, ask me.
You give
Ask
a
me.
fuck?
Nah.
Okay.
So, yo, did you see that video on Instagram of that 12-year-old boy that wrecked his mom's house because she took away his phone?
Oh my God, B.
Yo, bruh, when I say this dude trashed the entire house, this dude like went on a rampage from the living room to the kitchen. Yo, he broke the toilet bowl. He broke every mirror. He had like 50 holes in the walls.
Every TV,
every
counter.
window, the kitchen counter. He tore down the cabinets. He toppled the fridge.
Refrigerator.
Like his mom's was crying. I just didn't understand why she was crying because, bruh, he'd have been crying.
Yo, bro, I think I would have went to jail, son. I definitely would have. It would have been corporal punishment in the house. His face would have went through the wall.
The crib looked like Project X.
Yo, how does a 12-year-old do that? You know, something wrong with these phones, man. Yo, real quick thing. I remember my daughter gonna kill me. I remember when she was about like 13 or 14 years old, her mother wanted her phone, and she told her mother she couldn't have the phone. Yo, Snoop almost killed her. And she was serious about this phone. And she had nothing in the phone. They was like talking about a boy that they liked or something like that, but it was nothing like crazy.
Nothing crazy.
But she was like really gun hold or not giving her mother a phone. I had to go to the crib and like break it up. So, but she didn't do the level of damage this kid did, man. I come from a Jamaican mother.
My mother's Haitian, so you know he'd have got skinned alive.
Yo, my mother.
Bruh.
Let me tell you something, how ill my mother was, B. I was bad, right? So my mother first of all, she used to beat me every day before I went to school, whether I did something or not.
Yo, Styles always got to go extreme with his mother woke him up every day and beat him, whether he did something or not.
Because I was getting in trouble every day.
Yo, come on, son.
That's word to my mother.
Come on,
Never call my
son.
mother on speakerphone.
Your mother woke up and beat you every
my
day,
moms. Listen.
whether you did something or not.
Just a reminder. Just a reminder. Not only that, but listen, it used to be a abandoned building on the corner of the block. So my mother used to let me go with the Sunnydale bag. You remember Sunnydale?
I remember Sunnydale, yeah.
Used to let me go with the Sunnydale plastic bag, go to the corner and pick up stones, little pebbles from the abandoned building, come back to the crib.
So you can kneel on them.
And put them on a piece of paper, and I had to kneel on them
Kneel
for
on 'em,
hours.
yeah.
And then sometimes, depending on what I did, the extension cord came with it. Like a couple of lashes.
You know what my moms used to do? You remember the plastic mat? And if you turned it over, there was the
yes.
little plastic spikes? She used to turn this over and make me kneel on that. Like, yo, brother, level of abuse.
But that kid needs some of that, B. He did. See, if he had some of that, he knew he was gonna get that. Yo, I never seen a burglar. Yo, you don't have to be heartbroken for that mother, because I could have took it if somebody came and vandalized my crib. But the fact that it was your kid, 11-year-old, because you took his phone, he gotta be on drugs, B. He gotta be on the spectrum or something. Like something wrong with Shorty, son.
Listen.
He couldn't come back home ever again.
If something ain't wrong with Shorty, something would have been wrong with Shorty after that.
Could they put her in jail like if she really like fucked him up?
Yeah, they definitely would.
Nah, B, I'd have said the intruder. He was an intruder. I don't know what the nigga said. Yo, that's crazy, man. Yo, Mom, I'm sorry that happened to you, man. Y'all should donate Yeah, she
just started GoFundMe.
Go fund me for real because, yo, he wrecked that crib, son.
He wrecked the entire crib.
The whole crib, every room.
Yeah.
No, look. Monty just said
That's corporal punishment.
Monty said we got abused. But for me, I'm going to tell you something, man.
Gave us character.
My mother saved me from the streets because she used to tell me all the time,
before they kill you, I'm gonna kill you myself.
And I didn't have fear for anybody. I didn't care about people outside. I didn't care about police. But I had a healthy fear of my mother. Let me tell you something. If I knew my mother was coming, everything stopped. Because I didn't want to have no problem. You can't hit her back. I can't do nothing.
When I think of my youth, I was in gifted classes all the way up until like the 8th grade. Then when I got to high school, it's so crazy because when I lost that fear for my mother, because from the time I was a child to the time I was like 16, 17, like you said, I had a fear of my moms because my moms used to bust my ass. But when I got to that age where I lost that fear, that's where I strayed. That's when I strayed. Like it got to the point, like I remember I got into it with my man that used to live upstairs from us on the 3rd floor. And me and him went at it or whatever in my man's crib. And my man took me and pushed me out into the hallway. So he locked the door and I'm banging on the door and I'm banging on the door and I'm banging on the door. So the neighbors go upstairs to call my aunt. Because my aunt used to whoop me out too. But by that time, like I just didn't care, bro. So my aunt comes downstairs. She's like, Moses, what are you doing? So I turn around, I look, I said, what am I doing? I said, what I'm doing is I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to probably go get my and I'm going to come handle this. That's what I'm doing. She said, you know what? You too old. It's not my problem no more. She took her ass upstairs. But I say that to say that you're absolutely right. I think that your children should have that healthy fear.
They should.
They should.
You need to get back beatings in the house, man.
Because the second they lose that fear, bro, there's no more consequences. There's no consequences.
And the government getting into it too much. Like, you know, my mother, I never thought my mother gave me abuse. I never felt like that was abuse. Some people said, you know, some people would say, oh, that's abuse. To me, that saved my life. Because where I come from, yo, Mo, I could have went the other way. And let me tell you something crazy, because I lived in a West Indian block. Like, everybody was West Indian on my block, whether you was Haitian, Jamaican.
So everybody could beat you.
Anybody
could beat
Let me
you.
tell you,
Your neighbors could beat
my
you.
My mother used to talk about a little bird. I don't know who the little bird was. A little bird told me.
Yes.
I've been trying to
and
shoot
they
this
knew
bird.
everything. And
knew everything. If I went around the corner, he went this way. He did. Yo, I remember one time I got beat like 3 times in one day. I did something. I got my neighbor grabbed me up by my ear, smacked me in the back of my head, sent me to my grandmother. My
grandmother handled you.
Whipped my ass. I took a shower. My grandmother sent me in my house, downstairs to my house to go take a shower. Son, why a knife came through wiggling through the door. My mother opened the door and beat me in the shop. Yo, son.
You know,
that fear?
I do agree with you about the discipline, but the one thing I could say why I don't think that it should be like that these days, son, these kids these days are built different than we were.
That's why they don't got no character.
I don't think these kids are mentally strong enough to deal with that. Like, in all honesty, I mean, son, you got these kids falling into depression and committing suicide over being bullied, right? Which is something that we all dealt with. I don't think these kids can handle that. I don't. And although I do believe in discipline, I'm a strong believer in children having respect, but it's just, I don't know, man. These kids these days are mentally are a little more fragile.
But see, now you're taking me somewhere else. Because to me, I'm just a firm believer. And like 10, 15 years ago, when they tried to, when they had the anti-bully campaign, I think when you took the bully away, that's when the world went crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
And people might not say that. People might think something else. Everything went haywire. You got more kids killing themselves at an all-time rate. More suicide rate went crazy, right? Because when you took that bully away,
it's the rite of passage.
It's a rite of passage. It's a part of the ecosystem, as we call it. And that bully prepared you for the real world. So now sometimes these kids go out there and they don't know how to deal with.
They've never been tested.
They don't know how to deal with confrontation. So now when the real world hits you, because you keep telling them, oh, that's not supposed to happen in school. That person's not supposed to do that. And then when the real world happens and it's harsh.
You know how many bullies are in the real world?
Like every day you go to your job, your
Listen.
boss bully you on the train.
Your bills are a bully.
So they don't know how to deal with
Credit,
it.
the bill collectors are bullies.
Yo, listen. And they don't know how to deal with it. And I think the best thing, the worst thing that could ever happen to us was taking that bully away. Because I'm a kid that came from bullying. I used to have these big glasses, you saw my
Oh my God.
big, the Medicaid glasses.
The Coke bottle glasses, like
Yo, let me
the
tell you
Urkel,
something.
but they were this thick.
I used to get whipped out in kindergarten and second grade kindergarten and first grade all the time until I had to learn how to fight, B. And once I learned how to fight, I became a bullier. But then I became nice. It balanced me out as through life went. You know what I'm saying? And every challenge that I had to go through, it made me so much better as a man. So I think, sometimes we get on the bully might hurt one kid, right? Might get to one kid and somebody's parents might have to be called. But in the long run, there's more kids committing suicide than that one bully hurting one nigga.
I think the bully's always been a rite of passage. I remember when I first moved to my block, I think I was like 7 years old, and I had this one kid that always used to bully me. Every time my mom sent me to the store, this dude won a quarter, and I remember my older brother telling me one day, like, yo, look, check this out. The next time you let this kid bully you, I'm gonna whoop your ass on top of it. And I remember like 2-3 days later, my mother sent me to the store. I go to the store, I come back from the store. Who's in front of the building? The bully. So as soon as he see me, yo, what's up? Let me get a quarter. Bro, while I look up, my brother's looking out the window. I'm like, damn. And you know what happened? I whooped that bully's ass, bro. Whooped his ass.
That was the end of that.
And yeah, and it wasn't just even, it was the end of that. But a lot of times, you have something inside of you, right? We all have that something inside of us. Well, not all of us. A lot of times you have that something inside of you, but you have to go through the event that's going to bring it out, right? Because you don't know your potential. You know what I mean? And from that point, when I whooped dude out, like, it made me realize, like, yo, I didn't know my potential. I didn't know I could fight. I didn't know how strong I was. You understand? From that point on, it was a wrap.
Yo, similar situation. My mom, it was just two bullies on the block, and they kept chasing me and my little brother all day. They just chasing me and chasing. So my mother come outside, and she's like, yo, Tariq and Conrad, come here. You know what I'm saying? So the bullies run down on me and my brother in front of my mother. So my mother's like, what's going on? So nobody want to say nothing. And the kid's like, still trying to grab at me. She's like, what are you doing? So I said, yo, mom, they keep on, bothering me and Conrad. She said, y'all get in the house. Y'all boys go back up the block. They was like, fuck you.
Oh,
my
man.
mother said, excuse me? She turned to me and she said some words to me. She said, look, she said, Tariq, I want you to bust this boy ass. And if you don't bust his ass,
I'm going to
whip your ass. And my dude, it was like the strength from the gods came. I beat the kid I was running from all this time. I beat the living shit out of him because there was no way I was letting my mother whip my ass and get my but it changed everything. It changed the dynamic.
It changed the dynamic, yeah.
Now on the block, I'm cool. The glasses don't even matter no more. Because now I understand that, I had it in me all the time, but my mother didn't sit there and tell me to go do what I had to do. Listen, I could have been a kid committing suicide.
Did they ever call you Gazer Beam?
Yo, I'm gonna punch you right in your mouth. We can fight. Listen.
Yo, did you ever try to kill roaches like with the sun?
Yo, man, listen, man. Yo. Glasses. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna send you a picture. You can put it up.
Yeah, send me a picture. I'm gonna put it up, man. But anyway,
check this out. I was talking to my homie the other day, and I was just telling him, about everything that I've been doing for the last couple of years and how I fell off a bunch of different times and I had to get back up and go back and do it again. And I told him he was going through a hard period in his life, and he was just telling me like, yo, listen, I just lost all faith and all hope. And I was like, yo, you can never lose all faith and all hope. You know what I mean? The Bible got a scripture that says that faith is the evidence of things hoped for yet not seen. So faith is hope and hope is faith. And anytime you start losing your dream and you stop going after it, you stop having faith and you stop having hope. So listen, never lose hope, never lose faith. Make sure that you always get back up. I don't care how many times you get knocked down, knocked out of your seat. You got to keep pushing. Just figure out a different way to go do it. Figure out a better way to go do it. Don't let nobody take your glimmer, your light away from you. Keep shining. I had to tell my man that. You know what I mean? Trust and believe in God. Pray to your higher power and keep on pushing. Let me tell you something about God. Even if you're not super spiritual miracle, right? God principle work whatever you do. The Bible says faith is dead without works. So if you don't work towards what you want, you can never get it. It's like going for a job and never putting out an application. You praying and you got faith that you get the job, but you never filled out any application for somebody to get in contact with you. You got to put forth the work and he'll work back towards you. But that's his principle. In anything you do, whether you believe in God or not, it's going to work out for you. Keep working towards what you want. Don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. Keep going for your dream. Love y'all.
This was a message from Pastor Styles. I hope you liked it. Yeah.
All right.
Yo, thank y'all for tuning in for another week of Brooklyn Boys Radio.
Yeah.
You know, we want to end this once again by saying R.I.P. to PNB Rock.
Definitely.
Much love and condolences to his family and to his friends. We send our love. Thank y'all for tuning in once again.
Hope to see y'all next week, baby.
We'll be back. Brooklyn. Out.